not having the resources a negative, right?
Yes.
But isn't it interesting how you turn something that was negative and then it also built up this whole positive side of your character? Using the imagination. Nobody wants to be poor and hungry and etc. But isn't it interesting how that desire for imagination, for example, for your sister, had a huge career impact, and for you, you also have grabbed hold of imagination where you're teaching other kids about theater, and we'll get into that in a moment too. But what do you think of that?
You know what? That's very interesting. You should bring that point up because maybe the lack of resources made us go in a different direction. Because we didn't have the resources, one resource that I loved, and I know Viola loved it too, is that we loved getting paper so that we could write. We loved getting paper because we would spend so much time writing out short stories. We would write scenes between characters. We loved to write. And to this day, I still love to write.
Right.
So maybe lacking the resources developed other things.
Superpowers.
Yes.
In a weird way.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
It developed other talents.
Right.
We went in a direction that was unusual.
It
I
unleashed
think.
those powers.
Yes.
Because if you think about some of the kids today, they're given so many, as a kid, I remember, my dad just having a cardboard box, and this cardboard box became a rocket ship.
Yes.
And today, the kids are given the rocket ship, or they're given the games where everything is already there, and they don't have to cultivate it themselves.
I am an educator at Central Falls High School,
Yeah.
and every year I have students that I know that I have to shape their lives and send them on their way.
Mm-hmm. How do you? I know you are part of the Thespian Society, right? At Central Falls High School. Can you talk
Yes.
about how that all got started and what you guys are doing now?
Okay. I am the troop leader of 7651. I wore my special pin today.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay?
Yep.
My troop pin. And I have students who are inducted into the International Thespian Society every year because we have a chartered troupe at our school. And it is international. And these students normally do productions. They have to put in certain hours. They have to do certain performances before they have the privilege of being a thespian.
Wow.
And this year I think I have 9 thespians. And I'm very happy. We have done the Shakespeare oration competition. We have done poetry out loud. We've done a version of The Monkey's Paw. And we are currently in production for Medea.
Wow. And do you also perform away from the school? The students perform away from the school?
Yes.
Because I saw there was looked like they went to Nathan Bishop in one performance.
My students usually perform wherever we are called to.
Really?
We have performed. Also, we did an adaptation of the book Dreamers.
Okay.
And we brought that to elementary schools in Central Falls.
Yeah.
And we were also given books by the Rhode Island Center for the Book. And we were able to distribute hundreds of the texts, which was absolutely wonderful.
So that's an impact not only on your thespians, but then on the audience members.
Yes.
Wow. And how long have you been doing this for?
I've been doing it maybe 10 or 11 years.
Wow.
And I've been fortunate enough to be able to do it.
What's the best part for you?
The best part for me is seeing a child overcome their fear and stage fright, to see their speech improve, to see their ability to communicate improve.
Do you lure them into the program, or are these kids auditioning? How does that all? What's that process?
I try to lure them in. I try to work their friends. I use former thespians. I tell them I can help you to overcome your stage fright, But we know that there is no cure for stage fright. But I tell them there are certain things that I can teach you to help you communicate. And some of them are really drawn to that.
Nice. You're like Yoda.
Okay, yes.
Now, you also are a playwright, right? You've adapted
Yes.
Shakespeare's works to like 1 hour form. Can you talk about
Yes.
that? Because I think, what did you do it 3 times, I believe?
You know what? I've adapted 3 Shakespeare plays, and I do it because it helps my students.
Yeah.
Okay, and I've adapted Romeo and Juliet, the Scottish play, and we know what that is, and I may not say it, okay? And Othello.
Wow.
And they're all in an hour. You can do each one in an hour. And I've also adapted The Monkey's Paw.
Wow. So, can you talk about how do you adapt the Shakespeare? How, like, what's the process of going in?
Okay.
Like, normally, Shakespeare plays what, 2 hours, 2.5 hours?
Yeah, about 2.5 hours, sometimes longer.
Okay.
They're normally like 5 acts,
Right.
which can be very long. And one of the things that I always do, I know the plays very well.
Right.
As a teacher, you know you're reading constantly, constantly. I had to take some characters out of Romeo and Juliet.
Wow.
I had to take Paris out. And I don't know how some people would feel about that, but in my adaptation,
How would
I
Billy
took Paris
Shakespeare?
out.
How would Billy Shakespeare feel?
I think he would love it.
I think he
Because
would.
I don't completely take Paris out. I might show Paris dancing, but I've taken out his speaking.
I think he would love it too. I think he would love it because you're now carrying the story and the message and the beauty of his works to an audience that maybe, for whatever reason, might not fully get that opportunity.
Absolutely, and it gives my thespians a chance to read Shakespeare, interpret Shakespeare on a daily basis until they perform. And then they fall in love with Shakespeare and his language, his timeless themes. That's one of the things I love about Shakespeare.
You went to Rhode Island College as well, right?
I did go to Rhode Island College.
And what about theater in schools and also in college, in Rhode Island College and Central Falls? And let's talk about all that good stuff.
Okay, well, I did graduate from Rhode Island College with a degree in English. However, I also had a minor, and that basically was creative writing.
Ah.
And I guess the arts are important to me personally because I think that it gave me an opportunity to bring what I know to the children in front of me. And therefore, the arts are important in education because it helps children to communicate. Therefore, it should be in every school in America. It should be in every elementary school,
Right.
every middle school, every high school, every college. Everyone should be given that opportunity to be able to communicate. There's so many levels of communication. And you know what? I don't like this communication with the cell phone and texting.
Right.
With drama and with the arts, sometimes we can get those kids off those cell phones, get them up on the stage, having them work on intonation, all these skills that we can use in real life to communicate with each other.
Powerfully. Powerfully.
Yes.
When I was growing up as a kid, and there would be certain classes, and I'd say to my dad was a 6th grade teacher, I'm like, oh, I don't like this. My father would say, think of it as a movie, because he knew I loved movies. Think of it as a movie. Suddenly a book became a movie, and I started seeing scenes, or history lessons became scenes and movies. And I didn't hate school anymore. And I agree. You know, they talk about STEM, science, technology, engineering, I think, math. I like STEAM, the arts. The arts have to be in there. And to really be, and any of those people that are designers and all will tell you, we do these things, whether it's a coffee cup or whatever it is, but there's design to it. There's art to it. And I think the arts are so important.
Oh, I agree.